Good afternoon, Alex. I feel like it's time I give you an update on how Ireland is dealing with COVID-19. Last week, I think it was, days are really melding together. There was an announcement on the telly by the Taoiseach, which is our Prime Minister, for people asking.
Once again, thank you to everyone who's working as part of this great national effort. Earlier today, the government received further recommendations on the actions that we need to take to protect our people. These are in addition to all the existing measures that are already in place. So with effect from midnight tonight, for a 2-week period until Easter Sunday, April 12th, everybody must stay at home in all circumstances, except for the following situations. To travel to and from work for the purposes of work, only where the work is an essential health, social care, or other essential service that cannot be done from home. A list of these will be provided.
So what's happening is, everybody is being asked to work from home that can work from home. There is a list of essential businesses that was published. Businesses and workers on that essential list included healthcare and frontline workers, supermarkets and supermarket staff, pharmacies and pharmacy staff, and takeaways, which is amazing. As a result of that essential services list, a lot of businesses who weren't on it and who can't work from home have actually let all their employees go. There's a once-off COVID-19 pandemic payment. By once off, I think they mean you can only apply for it once. It lasts 6 weeks, I think is the current time frame, and you will immediately get it if you've lost your job. I think the amount is €350 a week, which is a lot higher than the regular job seekers allowance, which is normally €210 a week for people who are looking for a job. I presume that they're hoping that in 6 weeks businesses can reopen, etc. Now, Retail Excellence Ireland did lobby the government last week, and it was announced somewhere at the weekend, but I saw it on Instagram. I'll hold my hand up, yeah, I saw it on Instagram. They've relaxed the essential business only directive for online businesses. So if you have an online business that has a warehouse where you can adhere to social distancing regulations and you don't have a public facing shop, then you can continue to operate, even if you're not an essential business. So that's good.
To take brief individual physical exercise within 2 kilometres of your own home, which may include children from your own household, as long as you adhere to 2-metre physical distancing.
We are allowed to exercise within 2 kilometres of our own home, so you're allowed to go out for walks, but they ask that you keep them within 2k of your house. The only difference between before we were in our 14-day total quarantine and now is that before we were still working from home, but we were able to take walks wherever we wanted. So we would drive to a park and take a walk there. We can't do that anymore because we don't have very many parks within 2k of our house.
All public and private gatherings of any number of people outside a single household or living unit are prohibited. All non-essential surgery, health procedures and other non-essential health services will be postponed. All visits to hospitals, residential healthcare settings, other essential settings and prisons are to cease, with specific exceptions on compassionate grounds. Shielding or cocooning will be introduced for all of those over 70 years of age and specified categories of people who are extremely vulnerable to COVID-19. All public transport and passenger travel will be restricted only to essential workers and people providing essential services. Apart from the activities that I've listed, there should be no travel outside of 2 kilometres radius of your home for any reason. Tá dain omláin ag folingt, agus níl éireann de friúil. Is gach aine inis cad a tarlóid. Tá spáin de cuid takeíocht dibreóirí sánsúla. Tá spáin de cuid takeíocht don seirbhísí riachtanach agus daoine atá ar lág cuidú. Tá spáin go feicí tú na dhia de clown agus de chóide.
In terms of what the shops are doing to implement social distancing, so the supermarket has stickers on the floor. You have to stand there and like wait till you get called. There's a massive sneeze guard in front of the cashiers. On the way out we had to like wait behind the line till we were called to the end of the counter. Then we had to stand behind that line and unload and wait till they went all the way through to the other end. And then this big massive sneeze guard up in front of the cashier. When she'd everything scanned through, we like could run through and like throw everything to her bag. It was crazy, it was mad. There's just signs everywhere that talk about social distancing and about staying at home if you have fever. Parts of shops are blocked off, parts of chippers are blocked off so that you can't get too close. I was away from Alex and walking up an aisle, and this woman was walking in the other direction, and she like saw me and she went, "Oh, for Jesus' sake!" And I was like, is that woman just randomly shouting at me? That's going to really help is like thick owl ones getting thick in the supermarket because you are walking around stressed. I was so annoyed with that.
That didn't affect me in any way whatsoever.
We weren't there, so of course it didn't affect you.
Contactless delivery is now a thing, so you can, when you order something, you get a contactless delivery. The post is delivering contactless delivery, which just means they'll leave it at your door and you don't need to sign for it anymore, which is great. Can we just get rid of the signature system? You can leave further than 2k from your house for essential trips. So if your supermarket is outside of 2 kilometers, you can drive to it. If your work is outside 2 kilometers and you're an essential worker, you can drive to it. But there are Gardaí, which is the name for our police force, there are Gardaí stopping people, asking them where they're going. So they're stopping the cars, asking them where they're going. And actually I know somebody who got stopped on a bicycle, which is one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. But it's his story to tell and not mine. Yeah, so that is the latest update on how Ireland is coping with COVID-19. We are in what I would hope is as close as we will get to full lockdown. I did refer to a previous iteration of these recommendations as shutdown. I now understand the error of my ways, that we were nowhere near like shutdown, but okay. I don't know the terminology, I'm not a doctor. How I am dealing with it is I'm just delighted to be able to leave the house again. I'm doing passing practice in the back garden, I'm doing yoga in the house, Pilates in the house, HIIT workouts in the house. We're doing sprint training in a field that's within 2k from our house. And I have signed up to a virtual marathon of 100k. So 2.5 marathons really. I will talk a bit more about all of that in my video about how I'm keeping fit during this period. Let's do a Q&A. So I was in a total 14-day quarantine, as in from the day that we started symptoms, we stayed in the house for 14 straight days. We only left on day 15 because we had well over 5, but we had confirmed 5 days without fever. And that we were completely following government directive there. So feel free to ask me any questions.
I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart, and I'm free.
You know, if you're in a country that hasn't got to this level of sort of strictness yet, if you haven't been through a 14-day quarantine period and you want to know how we did things, leave your questions in the comments below, and my next video will be a Q&A about what we did, how we've dealt with this. Ooh, last but not least, over 70s in Ireland have been advised to cocoon. So both of our parents are cocooning, staying in their houses. We can't visit them. So we do miss them, but they're happy and they're healthy, and that is all that matters really at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that's it for the most part. Ooh, one interesting thing is that our Taoiseach is a former GP, and he has decided to re-register as a doctor to help out in the HSE 1 day a week. And he's going to be answering phones for 4 hours 1 day a week, according to Twitter. Again, hold my hand up here, I got that information from Twitter, so I don't know if that's true. I would have read more official sources, but every newspaper in the country appears to be behind a paywall these days. It's a very good PR stunt. It's clever. It shows he's willing to muck in with the rest of us. Is it going to help? I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm trying not to be a bitch. I just think it's really funny. And then of course everyone online, well, you don't see Mary Lou do it. Another thing to note here is that Ireland had an election just before this started, so we're sort of in this interim period where we have elected new representatives,
and they should be forming a new government based on who got voted in, but they aren't doing that, and the old government is continuing to operate. I guess I don't understand what happens for the people who weren't re-elected. Are they in or are they out? I have no idea. So there are factions of political Twitter that are angry that they have not fixed this and put in place the new government, and then there are factions that think that we have more important things to worry about. That looks very different, doesn't it? Camera change anyway because the other camera died. But I just wanted to add that RTE, the National Broadcasting Service, have also put out calls for a reality show where they follow people in this period of social distancing and isolation and all that, and we applied for it. Now Twitter was so mad about the idea of the show, they thought it was so inappropriate, but I applied anyway. So sure, no word yet, but sure, fingers crossed. We'll see. Leave your questions down below for the next Q&A. Okay, bye.